All right, Mal, what's your topic?
I kickstarted the new Battletech game way back in 2015 because the Kickstarter launched in September, and they dropped beta keys last week, and so I've been playing that. It was, yeah, as I said, it was kickstarted back in September 2015, and they raised 2.7 million, and it's from the Kickstarter describing what Battletech is. Battletech is set in a universe at perpetual war, fought by militarized factions utilizing huge mechanized combat vehicles called battle mechs. Following centuries of space colonization, the rise of 6 great noble houses, treachery undermined the Star League and toppled its first lord. The rulers of the 5 remaining houses each proclaimed themselves the new First Lord, and so the succession wars began. Hundreds of years of mechanized armies, scavenged technologies, and political machinations follow suit. So the game is set in year 3025, which is just after the 3rd succession war began.
Okay. So for those that are slightly familiar with the lore, but not 100%, like myself, is that pre or post the clans coming back?
I don't know. The clans? What do you mean?
So in the story, when at one point after this first Star League falls, some of the groups stay within the galaxy and some go outside of it.
Oh, right.
And then after indeterminate amount of time comes, they come back
can't
to the
say.
galaxy, and they're called the clans. And there's definitely an ideological difference between calling yourself either a clans Battletech fan,
right?
Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly can't say. I don't have a lot of attachment to all the Battletech lore. I've played the games on Xbox, and I think the mechs look cool.
Yes, I remember playing it on
That's
PlayStation.
my extent.
Mech Warrior 2. Oh, I love
like
Mech Warrior
mechs.
so much.
What? The game is being developed by Hairbrained Schemes, which is this is the 4th game of theirs I've kickstarted. The other 3 being the Shadowrun CRPGs that have come out semi-recently over the years.
Right.
Yeah, and I loved all 3 of those, and they each one has gotten progressively better, and they really show that they've learned from previous works and will listen to their fans and whatnot.
Is this one a CRPG too?
So it's turn-based. Yeah, it's sort of like that, or like it's you'll deploy a lance of 4 and then fight against the enemies in missions. It's turn-based, but it takes a lot from the tabletop game. So Hairbrained Schemes was created by Jordan Weissman and Mitch Gittleman. Weissman is one of the original creators of Battletech. It was 2 guys, I guess. I don't recall the other person's name. And he also helped design Shadowrun, the original Shadowrun, which explains why they've worked on these IPs.
Interesting, yeah.
And Gittleman was the producer of the original Battletech video games back on the computer.
Oh, okay.
So.
Because I think both, for the longest time, like, as much as Battletech has, over its long and storied history, it has changed hands with different publishers. Yes. But I think that it's always, at least once Shadowrun came around, they both shared a publisher at any given time. Right now, I think they're both owned by Catalyst Labs, is the team that owns them.
Catalyst Game Labs.
I dropped games.
So there's also Battletech Online, and the makers of that are letting them use all of their in-game models for their mechs to help. So
I was going to ask that. I know some people aren't a big fan of them if they're like attached to Battletech, but I love the Mech Warrior Online renditions of some of them. Because they update them. Like the old stuff, some of them definitely look like 1980s mechs.
Right.
And so I think Mech Warrior Online does a good job of modernizing some of the chassis.
Yeah, so this is so they will be like Battletech Online is all like in from the cockpit and stuff. Right? I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's this is all like sort of like CRPGs and whatnot, where you're like looking down on the little miniatures almost. And then they're also working closely with Catalyst Games, who currently produce Battletech tabletop board game and the novels.
And if you guys are interested, if you guys don't know and you guys are interested in hearing about the Battletech board game, let us know. We might work it into the next episode. Just going to give that out there.
So yeah, the project seems like it's in good hands. Like everyone
Yeah.
Yeah, it's connected to Battletech currently and in the past. Like, it's working very closely. They wanted to do single and multiplayer skirmish for the beta, but they were only able to get single player out at the moment, which I've been playing for the last week.
Do you know how much the retail value of the full game is going to be?
I don't. I would, off the top of my head, it would probably be about 40, or like between 30 and 50, probably, I think.
That was how much the more recent Shadowrun.
Yeah, whatever the Shadowruns probably cost. I can't quite recall.
I think there were 40.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, but give myself some wiggle room.
I was just going to say that the CRPGs, because I know that CRPGs can be different styles and have different genres. Shadowrun and therefore Battletech Tactics, they're both tactics style, right? Like where you have the squares and you move so far and you can shoot so far, and then they take their turn.
Yeah, it's turn based with I don't think it's grid based, or at least it's a hidden grid if it is. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you go so far and then you can shoot. Yeah, it's all like that.
And Battletech has traditionally been hexes for its grids, which I've always liked.
I think it's not grid based this game. Mm-hmm. At least, again, it might be hit. Well, I guess actually you do pick a point. There's just not literal grids. I haven't looked to see if you turn that on, and maybe you just can't for the beta. So there's 6 maps and there's 3 levels of points for the battle, basically, like skirmish, battle, and war. Maybe I can't remember. I know war's the biggest because I played a lot of that. And you get to control your lance of 4 mechs. And there are a few different, right, for the beta, there are a few different mechs with a few different loadouts, I think totaling in 35 options. And
Can you do customization on that, or?
No, not, so you, like, there are like 3 options for a catapult or something.
Okay.
And the final game they've said will have, I think 40 mechs.
Dang.
Yeah. And then they are going to use a hardpoint system, which will allow you to like replace energy weapons for other energy weapons, that sort of thing, to help maintain the lore of each mech.
Okay.
So after you can choose different tonnages of mechs depending on your point layout. It goes all the way up to Atlas at the moment. Mm-hmm. There's only one Atlas, and you can also choose a pilot. There's a variety. I don't know the exact option or amount, but there's, I think, 10 to 20, which each pilot has 4 stats: guns for ranged attacks, piloting for melee attack, guts to see how much heat they'll take on, and tactics for, I think, sensors and initiative. And then each pilot has a special ability, just one right now. There are slots for 4, but just one for the beta, and there are things like multi-target, lets you target multiple mechs for your attack, and evasive, where you are harder to hit if you've moved for the turn. So at the start of your skirmish, you have like a line of sight, and then like the fog of war. And the first turn, all 4 of your guys move at once, and then after that, it turns into an initiative order. And how the sensors work are as soon as you get a little blip on your sensors, you just see if it's the weight class of the mech, basically light, heavy, medium, or assault. And then as they get closer, you'll see their actual weights. It's all in millions of tons, I think, or something.
It should just be straight tons, because I think
I can't remember.
assault class is 100 tons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then once they get in your line of sight, you just see the whole mech. And then it's turn-based, where on your initiative 4 comes up, and then anyone with that initiative gets to move, trading off between you and the enemy, and then it goes to like initiative 3 and down the line.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can there's positioning where there are the front and rear and side facing armor values and whatnot with different parts of the mech to you could damage arms, legs, parts of the torso, the head, the cockpit. If the cockpit gets destroyed, the mech is destroyed. And the only time you can target specific parts, though, is if they've been knocked down.
Oh, okay.
You can do a cold shot.
Yeah.
You can even cause ammo to blow up if I think you crit it maybe once or twice. I can't quite remember. I've seen some people complain that's much too rare. Like one guy was like, I've played 44 hours of this and I've only had it once.
Well, I know traditionally speaking in the game series, you have to keep attacking a place and destroy the armor enough, and then you could possibly critical and do damage to the ammo to cause an explosion. But the problem is that if you do that damage enough in that same area, there's a good chance that you will destroy the mech before you really actually get to trigger the explosion anyway. So.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure they're taking a lot of the mechanics from the game, the tabletop game, and just putting it in.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen people talk about. Like, I think the values are upped, like the damage values and the armor values are like ×5 or something, you think.
Mm-hmm.
But
for the most part, it's a matter of the internal calculations are similar calculations.
Yeah. I've never played the game myself, but I've looked through the rules because you've expressed interest.
Well, I have the game and I have a bunch of the miniatures. Right. I know me and Cameron played a bunch at one point.
So it definitely feels like the tabletop game. And it looks great already. Like the graphics look great, and the audio's all pretty great. The AI is pretty subpar, though, unfortunately. They have said that there will be different difficulty ranges in the full game, though.
Yeah,
I know the AI definitely needs work, though. And then I think there's some other gameplay balancing, like autocannons. The higher end ones are pretty OP, I think.
Okay.
But again, they've been receptive in the past to their players.
Yeah.
So I have high hopes, and like I think they'll get it. Like that's what the beta's for, right? They want lots of critical feedback. And then they've said that the what? What's that?
Speaking of the beta, is it only those that kickstarted it have access, or is there a way to get in?
You had to back it at a certain amount. I think it was 50, which is what I did. I don't know if it is a closed beta, and I don't know if you can just if you go and like buy it now, if you can get access to it.
Okay.
And they've said that the campaign, we'll have a complete campaign where you command your own mercenary outfit, who's been drawn into all the inner sphere conflict going on, and you'll get to manage the finances and logistics of your mercenaries. And they actually funded it enough, like to where they unlocked the expanded campaign, which lets it be more open-ended with and choose different contracts and alliances with the great houses and other factions even in the inner sphere.
So
and you get to grow and you'll get to grow your reputation, which will affect like the kind of contracts. And they warn, different great houses will probably be trying to use you for their own agenda, maybe betray you and whatnot. It all sounds pretty cool, but we'll have to see how it gets actually implemented finally, because I think there's a lot they could do for it.
I don't know a lot about Battletech, but one thing I do know is that people love the setting a lot.
Right.
One of my friends wanted to basically run like an RPG with the miniatures where we play the game and have like a campaign and stuff. So, people love the game, so...
Catalyst Labs, Game Labs does actually have a Mech Warrior RPG. I've never played it because whenever you are in the mech, actually in that core rulebook, it says you should use our miniature game for when you're in mechs, which, I own both products anyway, so it's not that big a deal, but I could see that being a game breaker for others. But whenever you're outside of your mech, guns are very, very lethal, which makes sense. People don't exactly stand up to bullets very well, but that doesn't make a good game necessarily. It could, but I've always wanted to try it, though. I'll be honest.
Yeah, you can check out their the original Kickstarter page for the whole pitch for more info, and then they also have forums up now with like questions from the dev, which just how the beta's going for more info.
I need to check this out. I'm excited about it coming out. If I had been able to kickstart it, I would have.
When's the full release, Mel?
They haven't given a date for that yet.
Do they know if it's only going to be PC or is it going to be on PS4 and Xbox One?
I think it's just PC.
Yeah,
but I'm not 100%.
The way the setup is, I feel like it would do better in PC. At least the way you've described it and everything. I don't know
if they've put any of their other games on anything.
So it's probably going to be PC only then.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're excited to play the
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've liked what I've got from the beta. I'm really looking forward to how the campaign will shake out.
I'm curious about how the mercenaries... Sorry.
Keep going, Tats. What do you got?
I'm just gonna say, I'm curious how the mercenary outfit's gonna work if
Right.
you get to actually like customize the name and stuff like that,
Oh,
or
yeah.
if you're gonna be like an existing
They did
one,
say
like
that
Ghost Dragoons.
one of the levels they unlocked was customizable home base in a derelict dropship.
Ooh.
And I pulled up the page, and it is only for PC, Mac, or Linux.
Okay.
Wah. Didn't you say some of the old games were on Xbox?
Original Xbox.
Yeah,
Okay,
there
wasn't
was-
anything on 360.
There was 2 on the original. There was a couple that came out for the DS. There was 4 that came out for the original PlayStation. And then
Nothing in a while, basically.
yeah, nothing in a while. And
Other
then
than the
Mech
online
Warrior
game.
Online
Yeah.
came out 2011, 2012, something like that.
Not
I think.
sure.
So no loyalty to
Never
any
got-
platform.
Nah.
Well, yeah,
they're
this is
kind of-
a new. This is a new. This is a different developer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the developer's loyal to PC, it sounds like. So.
Again, I think that it's partially Mech Warrior has changed hands a lot. Well, Mech Warrior / Battletech has changed hands a lot throughout their long and storied
Yeah.
history. So, but they always seem to survive, and they always seem to find an audience because it's awesome, and you should check it out because it's awesome. And you
People
should
love it.
because it's awesome.
People love it.
It's awesome.
All right, this has been episode 13 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and now topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. Be sure to check us out on social media. We are on Twitter at Podcast5R, Facebook at facebook.com/P5R Podcast. We have a YouTube channel now with our name on the end of it. Check it out there, Podcast of Five Rings, and MetaStream, twitch.tv/PSO Flow. We'll see you guys next week with some more line cards and a bit more flavor about our favorite Berserkery Bushido fan.
OBS.
Yes,
OBS. It's E3 next week.
we will still be back with more L5R stuff.
We'll figure out how to work.
L5R will be in a separate video because the whole podcast will probably be dedicated to E3, so look out for a double episode, if you will, next week.
Don't forget to check out monthly modules.
Yep.
Which
Mecha
is
vs.
awesome.
Kaiju will be live by the time you hear this. Part 1. Check it out. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Good time.
Bye.